like it.
What's good, everyone? Welcome back to a new episode of Living in the 323. This is your boy, MG on the mic.
Hey, this is your girl, Princess Abby.
Hey, what's going on, Abby?
What's good?
Well, let me tell you right now what's good. One, we have royalty in the show today.
Yes,
I
I'm
kid
so
you not,
excited
royalty.
for this.
Well, one, before we bring
The
up
Queen of LA.
the Queen of LA. I was about to say that.
On the same frequency, my boy.
Always. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who do not know who we're talking about, when I say royalty, she is the Queen of LA. Literally the Queen of LA.
The voice of LA has tuned in.
There's really no way to introduce this lady. I mean, Queen is obviously the biggest thing that comes into mind. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to the host of Cece and Romeo in KDAY 93.5, Miss Cece Valencia.
I love it. I love the way you intro me. I feel good.
Oh, of course.
Romeo, you gotta intro me like that every day. No, I'm kidding.
For real.
I'll be happy to
Cece the Mamacita.
Hey. Well, how are you doing, Cece? It's good to have you with us.
I'm doing good. Today's a special day. We have a new president. We have a new vice president. We're making history.
Yes, we are.
History. Listen, the first woman ever. So really excited, very emotional. And I'm glad that I'm talking to you on this special day.
Indeed.
You know, this is where our nation will pivot. You know what I mean? We had a disastrous 4 years. I'm sure we can all agree with that. So we are just hoping that the nation takes a pivot, and we're just ready. We're ready for, you know what I mean, for good things to come for our nation.
Oh, definitely.
Definitely. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, one thing you did mention was the first female vice president. That is a big deal in this nation because women are slowly, well, not slowly, but surely coming up in this world, in this nation, especially. And what does that mean to you, the fact that we have our first women vice president?
It means a lot. I was really emotional when I spoke on KDAY this morning. You know, I never thought that I was going to see that in my lifetime. Especially as women, we have to work 10 times harder just to even be acknowledged.
Very true.
You know, sometimes,
definitely.
you know, we put in work and we're even overseen. So we're busting our ass and it's just to be acknowledged and to see that she comes from, you know, her parents were immigrants, you know. I have, you know, my grandmother was an immigrant from Mexico. So I totally understand. And the fact that I'm so excited for our little girls to see, you know, a woman and they can see themselves in her. She's a person of color, you know, so it's a beautiful thing and it's good. And times are changing and we're ready for them, you know, and like I mentioned before, we had, you know, a really crazy past 4 years. And then last year was just really horrible with, you know, systemic racism and social injustice and everything that was going on through COVID-19. So this is a time to celebrate. It makes me feel so good. You know, when we found out that they had won the election, right away, I got in a group chat. I'm on a group chat with my family and really it's just my tias and my primas. And we all said that we wanted to come together because we come from a familia of strong women and we're like, you know, we're known as chingonas. Like that's just who we are.
Yeah.
This was something that made us proud and we wanted to watch this. I wanted to watch this with my nieces. I wanted them to see it. I wanted them to get inspired. So we all came together. This is where I'm at right now. We did take our COVID test because we're very responsible. My sister's a nurse. So we did make sure we got our COVID test, but it was beautiful. And it was beautiful for my nieces to see that. And it was beautiful for me to look at my mom while it was happening, you know, especially our mothers, they go through so much. And so when I was looking at my mom and my tia and I could see the smile on their face, I was thankful that I was alive to see this, but I'm even more thankful that my mother and my tias are alive to witness this too. It's a beautiful thing for women everywhere. We should be all celebrating.
Of course.
I think it's a very big point that you just made. Us women, we definitely have to work 10 times harder, you know, plus, women that are mothers, you know, not just women, but women that are mothers, women that are single mothers. women that come from harsh backgrounds, such as, you know, us being minorities, like we were talking about, being a minority, an immigrant with a different language, a language barrier. Like all of these factors come into play as a woman, you know.
Right.
It's not just like how you mentioned, like racism. It's like different levels that us women have to jump over these hoops. And
it's not just racism. It could be sexism. It could
yes,
be classism.
yeah,
you're absolutely correct.
yes, there's different variables that come into play. So I do think as a woman, as a Latina myself, I definitely can relate to you. Like, it's so beautiful to see somebody come up as far as she did, you know, whether, you know, people voted for her or not, as a woman to be up there, like, that's a big deal.
It's historical right now, and we're living in this moment. And as a matter of fact, we're living in a lot of historical moments, correct? Because we never experienced COVID. So, I mean, we're living through historical times right now, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. And the fact that we have overcame this, like, whether, you know, if anybody has gotten sick or not, the fact that you know, even if you did get sick, like, at this point, to still be alive and pass through that, like, surpass that obstacle, it's like, whoa.
Yes.
You made it through this hurdle, you know? So I think to anybody that is going through hard times, you know, just seeing the beauty of, you know, ashes turn into beauty. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
What God says, like he can turn ashes into beauty, whether you're coming from the gutter or not. You know, it's like the fact that now we have something so beautiful that we can all celebrate and all look at as women. Like you said, like, I want my children to be able to say, like, damn, if my mom did it, if that girl did it, like, I can do it too. You
right.
know?
Absolutely.
So I agree with you. I would agree with you 100%.
Right now, it's a time where women are rising, and I'm happy. I'm extremely happy about it, because unfortunately, we live in a world where women are so underestimated. They're looked down at. They're like, "Oh, you have to do this." I'm like, no, women. It's time for it's time for them to rise up, show who women are. Because at the end of the day, like you said, they work 10 times as hard as men do. But for me, I'm a coach of girls' sports. I'm a huge fan of that. Like, even the WNBA. One thing I'm happy about is the fact that LA finally got a women's soccer team. I think that's the biggest thing that LA sports had to announce, besides the Dodgers and the Lakers winning the championship. I think the biggest win was LA getting a women's team. So it's getting up there. It's slowly.
And you know what's surprising is that it's not really uncommon for people to even realize that, you know, women are strong. Because when I talk to men, whether, you know, it's Latinos, whether, you know, they're Black, they're Asian, you know, I have conversations with all types of people, Armenians, and the same thing. Men say the same thing to me. They say, you know what? The strongest person in my family is my mother. The strongest person in my family is my grandmother. Like, they always say that, no matter where walks of life, they always tell me that. Like, I've had so many of my homeboys that'll be like, man, my mother is the strongest person I know. So obviously, you know, they know that we are strong, and we're capable, but it's beautiful. And what's even more beautiful is to see men like you embrace us.
Of course.
It's just a beautiful thing. And vice versa. You know, I'm very big on showing love to men, because sometimes when I look at this world, I think, man, it must be really hard to be a man, and to be a man of color. It must be really tough on you guys.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, I have a beautiful Latino boyfriend, and, you know, I look at him and I think, man, like, if they only knew, you know, they just look at him and they judge him because he has a shaved head, he has tattoos, but they have no idea, like, the character of who this man is, and how he's such a good man. And so I really try to acknowledge that when it comes to men, because you guys have it tough as well. You really do.
Yeah, and I agree.
No, go for it. Go for it.
No, and I agree, especially when you come from the streets. Like me as a Latina, I grew up in the streets of LA. You know what I mean? My brother is a gang member. You know what I mean? He's doing time. So, like, both of us coming from the streets, and, like, we have tattoos, but not like crazy tattoos. You know what I mean? So people see us and they underestimate us until they realize, like, oh shit, she can have an intellectual conversation. Like, she knows what she's talking about. Same thing with my brother. He's currently in the pen, and he doesn't have a shaved head. He's not your typical Latino gang member because he was a skater growing up. You know what I mean? So he don't look like a gang member at all. Like, you just see him and you hear him talking, you're like, oh shit, this one knows what he's talking about. Like, he got a degree in there. You know what I mean? So he's actually being productive. But it's just like being a Latina or Latino person of color with tattoos, with like the the stigma that society pins up on us of how like we're not worthy to do anything bigger than just working like a fast food restaurant or what have you. Like when we see people on the come up, and that's actually the reason why we have this platform to begin with. He actually started the show and then I started co-hosting, but the reason why we even want this platform is really to give the underdog the opportunity to showcase their work, so we can put them on, you know what I mean? So I think it's a beautiful thing when we're able to show like, damn, the underdog is literally proven wrong, which was the motto that I actually came up with for New Year's, on New Year's, underdog proven wrong. Like we want to be able to show that people, like, even if they look like your average gang member or what have you, like they still got ambition in them. They still got hope, and it's all about the hustle and grind.
Right. And you know what, let me tell you, it's crazy that you say that, because, I come from a family, where we have, we gang members, and my dad, spent time in jail. I actually spent a big portion of my childhood visiting him in prison. But to be honest, every either gangbanger or cholo, whatever you want to call it, I have spoke to, they are so smart.
They are.
If you really sit down and talk to them, they're brilliant.
Yes.
They're brilliant. What it is that they probably just have too much time on their hands.
I was going to say.
Yeah, really. But I have spoken to them, and they talk about politics. They can hit on religion. Very intelligent people.
Yes.
Absolutely. To add to that, I've gone through different stages of my life. When middle school, it was like the whole baggy pants, baggy shirts, like the cholo style in middle school. And then, like I had my hair buzzed off last year because of COVID. I was just like, you know what? I need a fresh start. And here's the thing with gang members. They are some of the smartest people out there. And I never underestimate them. And a lot of people tend to do that. And when you come to meet someone, you look at them, they're like, what the hell? Like, where did you come from? Like, where have you been this entire time? And I give kudos to them, because some of them, they just think that, oh, like, I am in a gang, I'm just going to fuck up my life. And it's like, no, like, you know what? I'm in a gang, but there's stuff that I can do with my life that I can teach others in the future. And I admire that a lot from a lot of the gentlemen that I've had the honor of meeting and working with in the past.
No, yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. And I think, people make mistakes, and some go off of a really crazy path, and some come right back on. But I try not to pass judgment, just like you guys as well. We try not to, because people do look at us and they tend to judge us. But it's okay. And I'm okay when people underestimate me, because I know who I am. And I'm like, oh, because you underestimated me, you made it actually easier for me. Yeah. So, that never really bothers me. I love surprising people. And when I kind of read them my resume, or when we talk about things in the beginning, when I started my career, I was very cautious, and I was very humble, and I was very reserved on really telling people like what I've achieved. I didn't want to come off as bragging. I didn't want to come off as being very boastful. So I was very conscientious of how I presented it. But a friend of mine who worked at Latina Magazine at the time, she opened my eyes, and she was like, Cece, she's like, whatever you achieve, whatever goals you accomplish, you speak them out loudly. And when people ask you, you say it proudly. She goes, because here's the thing. She's like, it's bigger than you. She's like, it's bigger than you. And you have to remember that, because if you're on the radio, or at the time I was actually writing for a magazine, if you're, writing for a magazine, she's like, it changes people's perception of who they think Latinos are. That's true. You know what I'm saying? She's like, so be okay with that. Let them know what you do, because we all are not doing the same job, or we're not, or we can do more than what they think we can. She's like, be proud when you tell them that, because that just might change the perception of who they think our people are. So now I'm very proud when I talk about my accolades, and it's not to boast, it's to inspire. And it's to say, listen, I can do it. You can do it too. We come from Compton, California. We come from a single mother. We struggled as well. I grew up on EBT. They were actually called food stamps before that, so yeah. I grew up on that. I grew up, in the hands. We used to call them, the Gundi, Segunda. So we used to be like, you're going to go to the Gundi? We thought everybody went to go shop at the secondhand. I thought it was normal. So I grew up, with that stigma too, with people saying, oh, this little brown girl can't do it. But they had no idea the DNA that ran through my veins. You know what I mean? They had no idea or who my grandparents were, and the super cane made me stronger. And now, you know what I mean? I'm on the radio. It's been wow, this year will be 17 years. I started when I was like 5, just kidding. I know, but it's been like 17 years.
Really?
Yeah, on the radio. And
no, I literally grew up with you.
You know, it's crazy.
I literally grew up with you. Wow.
Yes, girl. Yes. I'm like your tia. No, I'm kidding.
You are. You're literally like my tia.
But you know, yeah, really. I'm like your tia. So, but it was beautiful because I realized how much inspiration people drew from me. But it was hard too, in a sense, because you have to understand I come from a family, so like they weren't used to that. They weren't used to somebody being on the radio. My mom wanted me to get a full-time job, 401k plan, dental plan, health plan. That was their vision of success coming, into the United States. And when I talked about entertainment,
Cece, I think maybe your Wi-Fi.
It scared them because they didn't. Are you getting me now?
Yeah, because we're kind of cutting off a little bit.
Okay, am I better?
Yes. Perfect.
Okay, perfect. No, so going on, like what I said was, coming from, the family that I did, they weren't used to radio or entertainment. So they really were nervous when I first started. My mom thought I was trying to find myself. And then once I started really making money, and they will, but you know what? I had to learn. And if you can't hear me, let me know and I'll move it around. But I had to learn not to take it personal. I had to learn you can't take it personal when they don't support you, because here's the reason why. They don't see your vision. They don't understand it. They've never seen it before. So they're nervous. So when they act concerned and they're like, well, maybe this is not the path you should take, it's out of love. It's to protect you. But I had to really stand by my vision. I had to execute my vision. And then once everybody else saw my vision, they got behind me and they supported me.
That's nice. Very true. Valid points there.
Question, why radio? Like, obviously you're so great behind the mic and both of us admire you so much, but why radio? Like, what got you into the radio?
I was actually in my beginning of my career, I was doing television. And I ended up getting into radio. They saw me on a show, and I ended up getting hired at a radio station. And they were like, this is a new radio station, the IE, if you're interested. And I was like, yeah, I'm interested. And I actually fell in love with it. I fell in love with it a lot more than I did television. So I took a break from TV, and I actually just dove into radio and really gave it my all. And now it's crazy because I actually dived back into TV a couple years ago, took another break, and now I'm getting back into television again. But it's funny because I go in and out of television. I might do a little things, and then I always pull back, and I go back in, I'll pull back. But radio, I have been so consistent with it because it's an instant. It's almost like in real life. It's an instant, talking to listeners, doing events, and that's just something I love. I love the community. That's my thing. I know that, on the radio, sometimes I might do a little bit of political news, but there's a difference between political news and community news. I love community, and I'm really about that. So the radio is, it's a gateway to me speaking into the community. So that's why I stood with it for so long, and that's why I love it. And I love KDAY. It's funny because when I was working in radio in Vegas, I actually came back and I took a break from radio. I was out of radio for about 1.5 years. And I was like, okay, I have to do a vision board. And my friend Roxy, right? Her name's Roxy. She did radio. Yeah, Roxy. My friend Roxy. I love her. She actually got me to do a vision board. She's like, girl, you need to do a vision board. You need to do a vision board. And I'm like, I'm not doing that shit. And she's like, you need to do it. You need to do it. So I did a vision board. She convinced me. I did it. And I wrote the words, dreams do come true, and I drew an arrow, and I actually had a KDAY sticker, so I did it and I put dreams do come true, and I put the arrow to the KDAY sticker because that was my dream. My dream has never to be on any other radio station but KDAY. So I've spoken into existence. I've been on KDAY ever since, and I'm happy. You know, I have bounced from one station to another, because some people know me from Power 106, but we're actually owned by the same company. So when people are like, you went from one radio station to another and then you went back, they don't understand that we're owned by the same company. So it's actually like transferring. Like they transferred me to a department and then they pulled me back and put me into another department. So so they had put me into KDAY, or I'm sorry, Power. And I was at Power for about a year and a half. And I was grateful, and I love Power. I love Power 106, but I kept begging every day to let me go back to KDAY because that was my culture. You know, I grew up with Dr. Dre and Eazy-E and Tupac and Kid Frost, you know what I'm saying, and Baby Bash. And so Cypress Hill, that's my era. So I felt more comfortable there. And it was a little hard when I first went to Power, but like I said, I asked them to please let me go back to KDAY, and they were like, this girl just loves KDAY. And I ended up going back. I went back to KDAY when I was on the morning show with Cruz. Cruz ended up going to the radio station across the street. That was my chance to get back. So I went back to KDAY. I've been there ever since, and I love it. And they finally are like, she's KDAY. Cece's KDAY. This is where she's at, you know. But there were some reasons why we did the strategic move we did with Power, and some people don't understand it, but that's for the behind the scenes. But there was a reason why they put me on Power, and it was really to do more community outreach through the station. They felt like at the time the brand needed to reach out a little bit more to the community, and they knew that I was very community orientated. So that's what the move was about. And then when I went back to KDAY, it was a great move, but I also was able to negotiate and really secure my bag, like really secure it. So they were different moves. People were like, why did you go from one station to another? And why did you do this? And I'm like, well, we're owned by the same company. And you know what I mean? It's almost like if you have another department and needs help, you're going to send your other squad member to help it out. So that's really what it was. And it really helped me secure my bag. So it was a great move that I did because I was able to get what I really wanted to get.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I think you were already like the voice of LA. So it was, like you said, it was a strategic move to put somebody who's already out there, you know, the voice.
Yeah, and that's what they wanted. They wanted somebody who was like, okay, let's find somebody who's really community oriented. So it really helped out, to be honest. But it didn't help them that I kept going back every day. And I was like literally, you guys, I'm going to tell you, like, this is so hilarious. So we're owned by the same company. So we're literally like next door to each other, right? Yeah. So I can go from like literally out of the studio and go into the next door, and it's Power. Power can go out of their studio.
I think I've seen it.
Yeah. And literally like during commercial breaks at Power, I would run into KDAY and I would be like, oh yes, you guys are playing, you know, some Pac, or yes, you guys are playing. And I was sitting there, and then like the producer from the cruise show from Power would have to come in and be like, Cece, we're going to be on air right now. Come on. And they would have to drag me out of KDAY studio. And finally they were just like, she just loves KDAY too much.
Oh, that is so cute. But I feel you though, because I grew up on that, you know, old school too, like Pac, Biggie, Eazy-E.
Right.
Like that's home to you. You know what I mean? So I totally get it. I resonate 100%. Like the new school, but it's always about the old school, the classics.
And it's, you know what? I think KDAY does so well because it reminds people of a time in their life where they were happy. And it's nostalgic music. So even though like the new stations sometimes have a problem, like sometimes the new songs can be hit or miss. You know what I mean? People, if it's new, some people don't accept it right away. They have to hear it a few times before they start accepting the music. But I think with our catalog, because it is nostalgic, anytime you want to feel good, anytime you want to escape, you can put on KDAY, you listen to the music, and it just takes you back to that moment. You know what I'm saying? Where you were at in that moment in your life, and it feels good.
Yeah.
Honestly, look, old school is, I mean, it set up everything for every hip hop artist, rapper that's out there right now. Yeah, they set the tune, and you know, huge shout out to Dr. Dre. I know he's going through everything, you know, his aneurysm, and you know, I hope he makes a full recovery. And I saw that he's actually back in the booth.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I've been a huge fan of him, Snoop, Tupac. I grew up listening to that. So like you said, it is a getaway for me to just sit back, relax. And every time I listen to that music, I always sing to it. All my friends and I are always just singing to it. And I think it's something beautiful in a way where it's like, oh, like I know this, like I can listen to this every single day and I will never get tired of it.
Right. Well, I think too, it's a testimony of really how strong the brand is. Not even the brand, let's just say the culture. How strong the culture is, because look at it right now through the pandemic. What was the hottest show that was created through the pandemic? Versus was one of the hottest shows, and that came out of the whole pandemic, trying to figure out what they were going to do with content. And if you look at Versus, almost every Versus is a KDAY artist.
Yes.
Every verse, think about it.
Yes.
Every big Versus they did right now that everybody was talking about, that blew out numbers, they were all mainly KDAY artists. That shows you how important that we are to the culture.
Yes, definitely. I want to ask you though about the events, because I heard you the other day on the radio saying that you missed doing How the West Was Won.
Oh yes,
I miss it.
I actually seen you at those concerts at How the West Was Won. I went like maybe 3 years back to back.
Oh, that's so good. I love it.
And I want to tell you this because we're obviously, doing this interview, but you're actually one of the reasons why I wanted to do radio.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You are such an inspiration to our culture as Latinas, and like you said, as women, that it's a male dominant industry, but us women, if we get our foot in the door, we'll push the pedal to the metal.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we'll have our foot on the gas and we'll make shit happen.
Yes, we will.
Yes, and seeing you do these events like live, it just gave me such a I don't know, how do I explain it? Like it just gave me I feel like that connection because I saw you in person. You know what I mean? Like a concert with any artist. So I feel like to me, this interview has been bigger than any other artist. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Just because you're a real big inspiration, and that's actually one of the reasons why I wanted to do radio too. I'm like, dude, I love concerts. I want to be able to host these events, these concerts backstage.
You can, definitely. It's doing concerts. I miss it. I miss being around people. I'm a people person. So I love my alone time, but there are moments, and if I'm not around people, I start getting a little depressed. I can get into a funk. And so I think I hit that moment last week, and I was like, okay, I've been really good through the whole stay-at-home order, not abiding by it, but I think last week I really just hit the wall, and I was like, oh, I want to do a concert. I want to hang out with the girls. I want to I get that way, and I missed it. I miss people getting together. You know what I mean? I miss us celebrating. I don't like when I see people, I have to give them the elbow or the little pound, especially us, we're Latinos, we're so used to hugging and giving each other a kiss. It's so hard for me to do that. So it's really kind of it's bothered me, but at the end of the day, I understand that, we have to be very careful and respectful of others, but I miss it, girl. I miss the concerts. They were so fun. And you know what was fun for us? We you guys would watch it, and then people would call us up the next day and be like, oh, this was dope on stage. I didn't know. I would miss those things because I would be behind the stage and I would see what's going on. So behind the stage was it was crazy. You know what I mean? We had other stories behind the stage, but I wish that I could see the performance. And I remember I went to a How the West Was Won, and I want to say it was in Anaheim or something, right? And I went and I was like, I don't want to work. I just want to sit. I for the first time ever, I just want to sit like everybody else and watch a concert. So my boss, I didn't have to work that one particular How the West Was Won. It was in Irvine. Irvine Spectrum Metals, I want to believe, or something like that. Yeah, so it was in Irvine. I was not working the concert, and I didn't want to. I didn't want to be backstage. I don't want to do anything. I wanted to sit down and I wanted to watch the concert like everybody else. And that was the first time I ever really got to see a KDAY concert. And I was like, wow, this is so cool. I literally was like, I don't know if they're going to get me to work again because I just love being at the concert.
They're so lit. I kid you not. Every single artist that you guys have as a lineup is dope off top. And again,
oh my God, so much fun.
Yeah, like Warren G, The Game, Sugar Free, Too Short, like you know what I mean? Like this is all classic music that we grew up to, the OG shit. So
yes,
I
yes.
respect so much for it.
No, trust me, we did a couple virtual concerts, but we are like, they are talking about trying to do something else, and we are in the works. So we're just trying to figure that out and what that's going to look like in, 2021. But yeah, we're trying so hard.
Oh, we're glad that you guys are working on that. We miss concerts so much. I was so used to going to them. I was actually hoping that 2020 would have been a year where I would have traveled out of state to go to a concert, to go to a festival. Like that's been one of my on my bucket list for a long time. But which leads me to my next question: what has been your favorite concert? Like of all the concerts you've gone to, which one has been your all-time favorite?
How the West is One.
How the West is One.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Hands down. Hands down.
All right.
There's nothing like How the West is One.
Yeah, and I always talk about it. I always say out of Crush Groove, Fresh Fest, this, even like when I did Power 106 concerts, nothing like How the West is One. When you get a bunch of West Coast riders in the same area and everybody's partying, it's a party.
Oh yeah,
it's lit.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
I love too, because even like the dynamic of who's attending, like you see mainly like Black and brown people. You see the through the music.
True.
You know, like when I've gone, I've seen a few white folks, a few Asian folks, you know, and nothing against them, but it's more of like a Latino and Black thing. You know what I mean? Like our cultures literally unite because we resonate with the music.
Yep.
Well, we resonate with the music, and I think we all like we resonate with the music because we've all been through the struggle.
Yes.
You know, we've all been through the struggle, whether we've experienced a couple of racism moments or even sexism. Like we all understand, we come from almost the same hood in a sense. So, you know, I love when I see the unity. And I'll be honest, it's funny because when you said white people, I actually had a white guy that came up to me and he was like, Cece? And I was like, yeah. And he said, I know I don't look it, but I love KDAY. And I said, well, that's right. I was like, keep bumping it, you know? So, I mean, I love those interactions with different people. You know, it is so amazing.
That's gotta feel great. The fact that people to walk up to you and be like, oh, you're Cece. Like,
yes.
How does it feel when you get people like coming up to you? Like, does that happen to you at the store? Like wherever you go?
Let me tell you, it is the most hilarious thing. Every time I decide to go to the 99-cent store, I get recognized. And it's not my face, it's my voice. You know what I'm saying? So I'm on the phone and people will hear me talk and they'll hear that, you know, and they'll be like, are you the girl on the radio? Are you Cece? And I'm just like, yeah, you know, sometimes I try and like, I don't want to say yes because I'm like, oh my God, I look so bummish right now. Like, oh my God, I hope they don't think this is what I look like. But yeah, it's crazy when I do get recognized. I took some adjustments because I remember we were at the mall and I was with my homegirl. We were at the food court and these girls kept staring and I didn't realize at that moment. And I was like, why are they staring? I was like, what they trying to stare us down or what? Like I was already like ready for it. And my friend was like, girl, it's because you're on the radio and they recognize you. And I was like, oh. And I just kind of smiled and they waved and I just waved. I was like, oh my God. And she was like, stop acting so hood, Cece. I was like, I know. So I had to adjust to it.
I think it must be hard when you come from the streets though. I mean, that's our first reaction. Like, we're like, what's up? You trying to get down there? What's up?
Yeah. Like, hey, you trying to stare me down? Like it was so that way. And then when I totally like, when they were just waving hi and they're like, oh, we listened to you. I felt so stupid. And I was like, okay, Cece, you need to relax.
How does it normally feel though? Like now that you've adjusted to it, like now with your level of fame and like recognition, how do you feel when you get people like that, like coming up to you?
I feel good. It feels good because they tell me what I've helped them through. You know, people feel really comfortable in walking up to me and talking to me and I love it. And they'll tell me their life story. It's funny because I had a friend in radio and he was like, wow, Cece, he was like, there's one thing that you have is that people automatically when it's a gift. It really is. I would talk to somebody and people will just open up and tell me their whole life story. And I don't know if it's because like, I really I'm concerned and I will ask you questions and I'll be like, what about this? So I really do care, but people do. And they'll open up and they'll say, oh, you changed my life or I was in depression. And that makes me feel good because it makes it worth it for me, because I go through so much that people don't know. And it just makes me feel good. It makes me feel like, okay, this is all the bullshit that I'm dealing with. This is why I'm going through it, because of this little girl, or because of this woman. You know, I get people that are like, Cece, I'm so depressed, but when I listen to you on the radio, you inspire me. Or, you know, or I get people that are like, thank you so much for standing up for our raza. We don't have a lot of people that speak up for us. Those make me feel good, and it makes it worth it, because there are times where I don't know if it is worth it. Sometimes I don't know if, like, sometimes I'm like, am I making a difference? You know, or if I'm going through something, I'm like, well, God, why am I going through this? I'm a good person. I don't steal, you know, I care about people. Like, why do I have to deal with this? But this is the test that I have to go through. And this is why, because when those people come up to me and they have problems, I can identify with their problems. I could understand their problems because I've gone through them myself. So that's why I try to look at it that way. This is the reasons why I go through some of the stuff, because it's hard. I mean, I've been told everything. Like, anything you can tell a girl has been told to me.
Wow. And honestly,
I admire you for that, though.
Look,
Thank you.
We both do. Myself, it's like I always see the great in people, and obviously you're such an inspiration to many around Los Angeles. And it's like, to me, it's like when I hear your voice, I'm like, oh yeah, that's Cece. I heard you first in Power 106, and then when you made your switch to KDAY, I was like, nice. She's finally getting her own show in the morning. And which is to my next question. How has it been for, I believe you've been on with Romeo for the past 2 years, I assume, correct?
Yes.
How has it been working with Romeo? Like, because you both are funny, you both work great together.
You know what's so crazy is that everybody says that. Everybody's like, man, you and Rome are so good together. We have been friends for a very long time. And when I was at KDAY, I actually was I did a morning show with Tattoo. It was me and Tattoo in the morning. We did a morning show. And then I left KDAY and I went to, at the time it was called Latino 96.3. I went to Latino. And then I ended up coming back to KDAY, and I came back as middays. And then that's when I ended up going to Power. And when I came back, I negotiated. And I was like, look, if I'm going to come back to KDAY, I want to do a morning show, and I don't want it to be called the KDAY morning show at all. Mm-hmm. I needed to say Cece and Romeo, and it has to say Cece. And I want it to be, I want my name first, because, and not because of any ego, it's just because it's never been done before. I wanted to do something that's never been done before. Everybody else is like the crew or the show or the squad, and they never mention the girl. The girl is always like a sidekick. And I was like, no, I know who I am. I know my worth. I know my brand, and I know what I bring to the table. So my name needs to be on there. And I wanted my name to be, I wanted it to read Cece and Romeo. Now I was a little afraid. I was like, I wonder how Rome's going to take this, right? Let me tell you how amazing my co-host is. When we had a meeting about it, our boss was like, okay, we're going to have to talk about this name change that Cece wants, because I was very adamant about my name change on it. And they said, and I was ready. I was ready for a battle. I was like, they're going to fight me on this name change. But I'm going to have to fight. And like, literally, there was a time where when I switched back from Power to KDAY, for 2 weeks, you didn't hear me on air. That's because I was negotiating. You guys didn't know that. The listeners didn't know that. But I wasn't on air because I was negotiating. We're going back and forth. And I remember when we had that conversation, and I thought to myself, oh my God, I hope Rome doesn't take this wrong, but this is the way I want it. Mm-hmm. And when they said, all right, let's get to the name change. And Rome jumped in and he goes, yeah, I want to talk about that. And I thought, okay, we're going to have a back and forth on this name change. Yeah. And he said, I think it should be called Cece and Romeo. What? And I thought, oh my God. And I didn't say it. I was quiet. And he said, because he was like, should always be women first. Yes. You should always respect the women. And I thought to myself, oh my God, this is who I'm working with. This is this amazing man that had no ego tied to it, that understood and that respected me as a woman. And he's the one that actually said it. And I was like, oh, thank God I didn't have to fight for that. You know what I mean? He made it so much easier. But that's a testimony to Romeo's character and who he is.
I love that.
Didn't I tell you, Abby? Because I told Abby the exact same thing. I told her because on our Instagram, she has me first. And I told her, no, it should always be the women first for everything.
He literally told me the same thing, yo.
Really? That is so amazing.
Look, me as a guy, I will open the door for a woman, even going through the store, going through the restaurant, for the car, everything. And I always say, women first. Like, even if like at a barbecue, I'll tell them, no, you got women get the food first. Gentlemen, your ass has got to hold because they got to get their food first. It's gentleman's code. I like calling it gentleman's code. And when I heard Cece and Romeo, I'm like, you know what? That's a first because I've never heard a woman's name being included first in the radio. Like,
this is actually what I did was actually, and it's funny because I'm a woman, so it wasn't really acknowledged. But what I did was I made history in hip hop radio Los Angeles. It had never been done before. A woman's name has never carried in the front of a show. And I did something that made a huge mark in radio. However, it was not acknowledged because I was a female, so it didn't get as much recognition. But I didn't need it because let me tell you, almost every girl from every radio station called me and bigged me up. And if they didn't call me, they DM'd me. And they were like, oh, that's dope. Like, because it was a win for us as women in radio, and they knew that. So a lot of women, and as long as I was acknowledged by the women and they knew what I was doing and they knew why I was doing it and they understood it and they applauded it, it made me feel better. I didn't need the whole world to really know, but I did think to myself, if I was a guy and if that happened, I probably would have got a press release. They probably would have did a press conference for it, but they didn't. I didn't really get the recognition, but that's okay. I just wanted to make the move so that way whoever comes after me, like you, girl, whoever comes after me, now they have it easier. You know what I mean? Now she won't have to fight so hard because I fought that battle in the beginning and I made it a little easier for her, just like there was other females before me in radio, like there was Cherry Bomb Martinez, who was on Power 106. There was, Nautica Dela Cruz. There was, the poetess, Carmelita Sanchez, who I really admire so much. I admire Carmelita Sanchez. She was one of the first Latinas in radio in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. And so I really admire these girls. And I know that because of them, I'm able to have the path that I have. So I just want to make it easier to usher the next generation.
Oh, and thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Yes.
It really is making that, you're basically opening that door so we can just step right on in. It's not that easy. It sounds easier than ours. But it's a pivotal moment for us women, to really embrace whoever's in front of us and honor them. You know what I mean? Them. So I truly thank you because that's actually one of my next moves. Like, I really want to be on the radio, and we get DMs all the time. Like, oh my God, I love you guys' podcast. The energy, like, so to me, like how you said, like, I want to do that for the next generation too. Like, one thing that I told my co-host Manny is that, like, I want to uplift, inspire, and edify people. If like similar to you, like if I can help somebody by telling my stories and my struggles and they can resonate with that. And even if they ask me for prayer, like I'm willing to do it. I want to help where I can through my poetry, through my business, through the podcast, through whatever it is that I do. Like my goal is always to help people, especially women, the young girls that don't see a way out of the hood, the streets, that are suffering, not just women, but just everybody in general, but mainly the women, because I feel like as women, we do suffer a lot behind closed doors and we don't always talk about it, it's very hard for us women to say certain things that are private that have happened to us, so I feel like I can help you. And if you have that, like how you said, like people, they're lured to you because you do have the gift where they just want to talk to you. And you can give him some, el consuelo, like we say in Spanish, le das un poco de consuelo.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Somebody, then it's a pleasure for me. It's an honor for me to do that as well.
Right. No, and I've been that way since I was small. I just love talking. So I talk to everybody and I'll talk.
I would get in trouble at school, like, you talk too much.
I remember that.
You remember?
Yes.
We went to elementary school together.
Oh my God.
We know each other. But,
elementary girl.
Yep.
And we're about to hit 30 soon.
Wow, that's a beautiful thing though, right?
Yes.
Trip out on this though. Our parents actually knew each other before we were born. They went to Fairfax together, adult school, and we didn't know that. On the podcast we found that out.
That is so crazy. See, it's meant to be.
It is.
Yes.
Well together.
That's awesome.
It's just crazy. It's just crazy how everything just, connected. And honestly, and I tell her to this day, I was like, I made the right choice by, bringing you on the show. Because I told her I could have brought a guy. I could have brought my best friend to come on here with me, but no, I went in a different direction because I feel like every show should have a woman in it, like podcast, radio. So that's why when I heard Cece and Romeo, I was like, this is dope. The fact that your name comes first, and then you don't see this everywhere. So with her, it's like I tell her, it's like I'm glad that you're here with me. It's like we balance each other out. And she has done so much for the show. Like I had a total different view of it, and when she came on, I went a whole different direction with it. I was just like,
"That's okay. That's good. That's good."
I was happy with it. I
wasn't planning on it, but some way, somehow, we ended up directing more towards the music industry. We put on people that are underground, like producers,
right?
Artists like reggaeton, trap, rap, whatever it may be. But we put on the underdog, like how I was saying. But it just so happened to be that way because it's not like I was aiming towards it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like God brought the people to me and I just was like, hey, I have a podcast. Come on. They're like, yeah, I'm down. So it just kind of happened, And now we did a whole season. Now we're in the second season. Now we're dropping visuals. So it's just grown. We're going to be dropping merch soon. The logo changed. So we're like doing a lot of things. And I always tell him like, we got to expand and continue to grow.
Yeah, definitely have to grow.
Yeah. And so slowly but surely it's happening. But I just wanted to say with him bringing me on, it's very similar to what happened with you on KDAY because I actually had been on the radio prior, but it was like Spanish radio and it was more like preaching because I'm Christian, right? Mm-hmm. So it was more like I got invited to say my testimony because, I've had a little bit of a crazy life when I was younger. So they wanted me to say my testimony and then they wanted me to, from that door, another door opened to actually host a show in Spanish. So Latin America would see us. And so I just wasn't comfortable. One, because I was born here. So the Spanish to me, I was thinking Spanglish, Right. It was hard for me. I was like, how do I say this in Spanish?
You're like, I'm really excited.
Yeah, exactly.
This is muy bueno.
Yeah.
Muy bueno. Yes.
It was hard for me to only speak Spanish. But also I wasn't ready. And then he launched in January of last year, 2019. 2018 in December, I remember just praying to God, like, God, I want to be back on the radio. I don't know what I want to do yet, but I just want to be on the mic. I want to be able to talk to people, like I really want to. So I was praying all through December. And then January comes along, he launches. A week after he launches is my episode because I have a small candle business, right? So he is like, wanting me to come on. I was like, hey, I have a small candle business. I would love to be on. And so we do that episode and then boom, right after that, he's like, hey, I'm looking for a co-host. Like, do you want to be on? Like, you're perfect for this. And I was like, dude, I've been praying for this. Like, you don't even know.
That is so beautiful. That's a dope story.
Thank you.
I love that. And that's a testimony. God works. You know what I'm saying? God works.
Yes, in mysterious ways, things that, I hadn't seen him since elementary, really. Yeah. So the fact that interview happened, it was crazy how that worked out.
How did you come across? Like, how did you guys link up again? Like, how did you?
So here's the funny thing. When I launched, she hit me up, just congratulate. Let me see. Cece, are you still with us?
I'm here. Sorry. Okay. My phone was ringing. My bad. Go ahead.
So, funny thing is, when I launched the first day, like the first episode, she actually sent me a comment on my IG saying congratulations. And then I DM'd her. I was like, thanks so much. I was like, I heard you have a candle business. And she's like, yeah, I do. I was like, how would you like to be on the show? Like, I can help you promote your things. And then she was like, I'm down. We linked up. We had breakfast. And then we went to do the episode. And then within the end of the episode, in my head, I'm just like, she's got a good voice. I love how she talks on the mic. I'm just gonna shoot my shot here. And I told her, I was like, I'm looking for a co-host. And she was like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah. Like, would you be interested in doing it if I were to offer it to you? And she's like, yes. I'm like, so would you like to be my co-host? And she was just like, I'm down. But I told her, I was like, look, if you're gonna be my co-host, you're not gonna be like my sidekick or anything like that. No, you're gonna be my equal partner. We're gonna both have a say in what gets put onto the show. And if we both have disagreements, that's perfectly fine. But at the end of the day, I want you and I to be like, this is what's best for the podcast, and this is gonna be best for our audience that listen to us. So I mean, it's been a huge journey. We didn't record for a while. We took a whole like 6 months off because of the pandemic. But I told her, I was like, look, like, I know you're not recording right now. I know you don't want to do this right now, but I'll wait for you whenever you're ready. And then literally she's like, I'm ready to get back. I'm like, yes, like, let's do this.
And it's always awesome because it's a balance that you guys have and you guys can offer to your viewership. You don't want to cheat them, you know, so you want to give them that balance. And I love it too, because that's how me and Rome, we both balance each other. And then we come up with a lot of ideas, and it's never about whose idea, because like I might add a color and then he adds a different color, and then our producer adds a different color. Now it's a picture, and that's what we love. So I'll go in there and I'll be like, hey guys, I have this idea. Tell me if you guys can, you know, figure out a way to make it even doper. And they do, and we add, or they'll have an idea. So it always balances out, and we always try to keep in mind the audience. You know what I mean? Who is your audience? What are they listening for? You know what I mean? I always picture, you know, imagine a certain type of girl listening, a certain type of guy. So that's who I speak to. So it's great that you guys are doing that. You guys are actually on the right path.
Oh, thank you so much. If you have any other tip for us, we would love to take in whatever you have to give us.
You know what? Be yourself. That's who, that's what people are going to love, is that you're yourself. Just be yourself. You know, I've seen so many girls make different mistakes, you know, when they're on the radio, they try to be a whole different person. And it's like, they don't really buy that. Listeners are a lot smarter than you think. And I've even known girls that, you know, they go on the radio, and once they're on the radio, their whole voice changes, right? And they're like, hey, what's going on? And you're like, you don't even talk like that. So like, there's certain things you just have to be real. And I always, you know, I'll listen and I'm like, and then there's some girls that are like, oh, they have it, you know? And, but I just say, be yourselves. Even if you disagree with each other, that's okay too. That's actually the fun part about it, because then now you create a dialogue. You know, me and Romeo, our problem is that we get along so good, is that we agree almost on everything, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah, we get along so well. So we have to take a stand. Sometimes I'm like, Rome, you can't agree with me. You have, you know, and he's like, okay. But then there's some times where we really don't agree, and we'll go at it, and it's fun because we know it's dialogue. And sometimes like the room could be heated a little bit because I'll be on my point, he's on his point. But as soon as we take off the headphones and we go to commercial break, we're like, it's good radio. It's good radio. We're radio personalities. That's what's good radio. It creates dialogue. So no, you guys are good. And if you have different opinions, that's okay too. That even broadens up the conversation. So I just say, keep doing it. Keep in touch with your listeners. You know, people are messaging you. Just, you know, try as much. I know sometimes it's so time consuming, but try as much to message them back, and just be really in the moment. It. Be in the moment of it, and that's really it is. But I love the fact that you guys are highlighting people from, you know, different aspects, like, you know, underground and people from the community, because they don't have a lot of platforms like that. So
that's the reason why I started this, because I want, you know, we want to help the little people out. We want to get them up there. We want to have them recognized by others, and
we want to put the underdog on top, basically.
Right.
We can help you, help elevate you. That's what we want to do. That's basically the goal. And it's crazy because when we started the podcast, we didn't think it was going to get to this level where we're at now. And we're still small. I'm not trying to say we're big, because we're not. We're still, you know, growing. But like, we have Europe tapping in, you know, we have like 10 countries tapping in that are not the US. And we're like, yo, this shit's crazy. We just tuned in not too long ago.
That is amazing. But it's a testimony to your content too. So be proud of yourselves, because other people from other countries are tapping in, and they could tap into any podcast that they want. But they're choosing you guys. Thank you.
It's really amazing. It feels good to see that other people are tuning in, you know?
It does.
Not just people from LA, like how we started. Initially it was like for LA, you know, we're from LA and we're for LA. And now it's like, oh shit, all these other countries are tapping in.
That's cool.
We're getting ready to just expand ourselves to the entire world. Like, we want the world to see that people from LA are not all bad people. Like, there's people in LA that are here to do good. And it's like, speaking for myself and Abby, it's like we love our city so much that we're willing to put ourselves out there for other people to make it out there. And LA is like the dream city to become someone. So, and it's not an easy.
Everything's here.
It's not an easy thing, but I think the beauty of this podcast for me is just interacting with them, getting to know them. It's because, like, for example, like in the movie industry, you can be a whole different person, but then outside you can be this person. Like people will see like, oh, like this person's actually the most nicest gal in the world. Like, you know, in the movies they're different characters. So it's like, I think when you get into character in a movie, it's so difficult to define who you truly are. And then outside of the media, it's like, you're a whole different person. I just think people, they judge you by, you know, don't judge a book by its cover. I feel like they look at you and they're like, oh, automatically, like, this person's not good enough. And it's like, no, like, I always see the good in people. I always see the good.
Yeah.
I don't like to see the negative. I hate seeing negative because I'm just like, no, I'm going to define this person the way I view this person. And at the end of the day, it's like, you know, if I give them my respect, you know, I'm not asking for the respect. I just want them to see that, you know what, I'm a good person and I'm going to respect you for who you are. Like, you don't need to be anyone else but yourself.
Yeah.
Right. I totally agree.
Yeah. And I do agree with you being transparent. You know, I actually just got a DM yesterday by a girl telling me like, I love how like authentic you are. Like you're so transparent through you being on the podcast. And I was like, wow. Like, I was like, you get that? She's like, yeah, I love your personality. Like, don't ever change.
You did not tell me
She just hit me up last night. And I was like, damn. I was like, literally, that's how I am. Like, I love to like just bullshit, have fun. Like, I love to drop gems and teach people at the same time. I'm like, and I did tell her exactly what you said. I'm like, I'm just in the moment. Like, that's literally what I told her. I was like, I'm just literally in the moment, you know? I'm like, sometimes I'm like, am I bullshitting too much? Am I being too serious? I'm like, these are thoughts in my own head, you know, like how, you know, should I be a little more serious or not? Mm-hmm. So, but I think again, it's like, you're in the moment, you know? So whatever feels, will gravitate to that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just basically just love what you do. And I tell people, you know, as long as you follow your dreams, you're going to become successful. You know, if you're able to really just enjoy what you're doing, you're successful in life. So just keep doing it. You know, kudos to your guys' podcast. I love it. You guys before I go, because I have to wrap up, but we're Southgate.
Huh?
No, we're actually like in Southgate. No, we're actually, well, Abby's in North Hollywood. I'm like in the East Hollywood, Cape Town area, but
we both
Hollywood. Yeah, we both grew up in like East in the
Hollywood area.
But okay.
Around Southgate, like I'm always around like the county. I'm always in.
I'm everywhere, girl.
Yes. No, don't even worry about it, man. Listen, I spent the last couple years in East Hollywood. That's my little spot over there.
That's where we grew up. That's our area.
Yeah. Oh man, that's cool. Cool. I love it
now, but I'm still always around there, K-Town. Like that's
yes.
Like they have so many good stuff there, good places to eat, like small businesses. It's like honestly.
Have you tried this restaurant? It's off of Melrose in East Hollywood. It's called Tieres.
Where is it at? Melrose.
It's off of Melrose in East Hollywood. I forgot. It's called Tieres, I believe, but they have like the bomb fideo. I'm just saying.
Oh, yes. I know where it is. I just haven't gone.
That is.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Yeah, you gotta try it.
I'm gonna have to check it out because I don't know which one that is.
We'll go. We'll do it.
Yeah, the Mexican, they have like this bomb fideo. It's so good.
Is it? No. You said Melrose. I'm thinking Santa Monica and Gower because there's a bomb spot there too. A Mexican.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it's on Melrose. But yeah, no, you know what? Listen, I appreciate you guys even taking the time to interview me and talk to me. Like I really am. Thank you guys so much.
Of course. Cece, thank you so much.
Cece, can I ask you for a favor before we wrap it up?
Go for it.
Absolutely.
Can I do like a quick Insta story and then like you do it?
Yes. Okay, let's do it, girl.
Filter me. Because I want to post this later.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, Cece, whenever you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay, go ahead.
Hey guys, your girl Cece hanging out with you guys. I'm so excited. Make sure you listen to these two. They're amazing every single day. I do.
Thank you, Cece. We love you.
You're so welcome. Thank you guys so much. And remember to listen to me 6 a.m. to 12. No, my time's changed. 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. on KDAY.
We heard about that. We're happy that you got more hours on the air. So I will definitely be listening.
Yes, girl.
Yes, 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can get me 1 hour, definitely.
Yes, we love you, Cece, so much.
Thank you.
Love you.
All right, thank you, Cece. We'll talk.
I love you guys. Bye.
Have a good one.
Bye, Cece.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. I love it. Great interview.
Thank you.
Wow.
Oh my God.
We're still recording, by the way. Let's finish this up. Yeah, we're still.
I thought we were done.
Yeah, send me the video, and I'm gonna add the audio on there for you.
Okay, cool.
But anyways, guys, that was Cece Valencia from KDAY.
Cece the Mamacita.
Hey, I haven't hit the horn all day.
You haven't.
Not today. I think we needed to hear her voice, and she has such a beautiful voice. But anyways, folks, you guys can catch Cece on KDAY 93.5. You can catch her on Cece and Romeo in the mornings. We will talk to you guys soon. This was a special episode, and I'm glad that we interviewed her. What do you think?
Yes, Abby? I am so happy we interviewed her. Like I told her, like, she's literally an icon, bro. Like, she is an LA legend. And for us to get her on the show, and shout out to you for DMing her and reaching out to her, dog, because, man,
I knew how much
that shit made my day, bro.
Honestly, look, I knew how much you wanted this, and I was like, you know what? I would love to have her on with us because, like, she has such a voice, she has such a personality that, you know, I'm even surprised that she even hit me up. Like,
I know,
like when she sent me the message, I was like, no, like this, like it's gotta be like this has gotta be a joke.
But I know. Like when you told me, I was like, yo. But that's how you know that she is actually really humble, as she said, and she really loves the community.
Yes.
You know, that just goes to show you that there's still people that no matter what level of fame they have, they're still willing to support the community and support the underdog, which is like what we do, you know?
Yep.
So she's supporting us as the underdog from LA. And that to me gave me so much, like it made me have so much more love and respect for her. You know what I mean?
Very true.
And I'm thankful, like she said, she paved the way for us, literally. Like, for us Latinas, for us brown people, like she's literally paving the way for us to not have such a difficult time. So to me, that's huge.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy that she's been in the radio business for 17 years.
Bro, I'm telling you, I grew up with her, like literally.
Like, it's nuts because I'm just like, wow, like that's amazing. The fact that you're almost at 20 years in the radio business, that's a historic accomplishment, and kudos to her for that. But anyways,
shout out to Cece
again. Thanks so much for being with us.
Yeah, and if you guys don't know her, because there's people that listen to us that are not from LA, she is huge here in LA. Like if you are from LA, let me just say it like this: if you're from LA, you know Cece.
Yeah.
You've heard of Cece or you've heard her on the radio, but you definitely know of Cece.
Yeah.
So for people that don't know her, listen to her on the radio, and you guys will see how amazing she is on air. Like, she really is doing this for the people.
She's always giving back, guys, and I think that's the best thing that we can offer to anyone. So huge shout out to Cece, and thank you again so much.
Shout out to Power 106, man.
Yeah.
Like,
shout out to everyone that has had her in their business, because she is a gem. She's a diamond. Like, I don't know what else I can say more about her, but she has done so much for the community, and I'm just glad that, you know, she was able to come on with us for a little while and, you know, talk about her life, talk about her accomplishments, and even give us some feedback. I think that's the one thing I'm going to take away from this.
Yes, that's why I felt like I needed to ask her, like, hey, if there's anything you want to suggest to us.
I'm glad you asked that question.
We're still the underdog, you know?
And I'm glad that you asked her, because it's like, I was actually going to ask her that question, but in my head, I'm just like, you know what? If Abby has that question, I will let her ask it better, because I know how much it's meant to you, girl. Like,
yes, this was huge, bro. Like, it was huge. Like, I'm telling you, I seen her at How the West Was Won. I seen like her vibe, and exactly how she is here and on Power and on KDAY.
Yeah.
Like, she's so energetic, so full of life, and on stage, literally, it's the same charisma, same energy she brings to the table. You know what I mean? So, so seeing her live, oh my God, that shit was amazing. And now that we had her, like, you know, one-on-one here, like, it was, to me, it really made my day. And I know that, and we're not doing this for the numbers so we can get fame or anything, but I know that this will definitely help our podcast because people will see, like, look, we're underdogs, but we still have people fucking with us. You know what I mean? So that to me is like a really humbling experience.
That part to the max. And it's like having someone like Cece on here, just, it amazed me because I'm just like, man, like I never expected her to come on here, but I'm eternally grateful for that. And with that being said, guys, I'm gonna give out her Instagram. This is history. This is history.
This is our history.
Yes, it is. And this is our second guest of 2021.
Yes.
So we're off to a freaking bang.
Look how 2021 is even getting started.
It's off to a great
Season
start.
2, like, yes, we're dropping visuals now. We have, you know, CC
I think that deserves your button, don't you think? Folks, 2021 is off to a great start. I'm actually going to put Cece's Instagram out there so you guys can follow her. If you guys are having a bad day, you guys are just having negative thoughts, Cece is one of the persons that you can go watch her stories and you're going to get pumped up. So I'm going to say her Instagram is I am Cece Valencia. So it's IAMCECE We'll be posting it up on our Instagram page as well. And we're going to put this video on YouTube. So make sure you guys catch us on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel, which will be going up really soon. We're going to post the episode. We're going to post this episode. We're going to post future episodes on there. But the future is looking bright, Abby, and I am looking forward to it. I'm excited. 2021 is going to be our year. We're going to grow. We're going to have some fun. We're going to make new friends. But most of all, we're here for you guys. We're here for you guys. So,
and if you guys need us, I just want to say real quick, like how she was saying, like how she's hit a point of depression, you know, if you guys ever feel like you guys are at that point in your lives and you guys want to reach out to us because, you know, we are doing it for the people as well. We want you guys to be able to confide in us if, you know, it gets to that level. If you guys are thinking about like possibly suicide or just any deep depression where you guys are struggling and battling with that. On a serious note, we really do want you guys to reach out to us.
Please do, guys.
Whatever we can help in, you know, even if it's a prayer or just any sort of guidance, you know, we're not the most knowledgeable, but we do have some sort of wisdom under, you know, our belts. So if you guys need to reach out to us, please feel free to do it.
Guys, do not hesitate. A lot of people tell me that I look like I'm such a rude guy, and I'm not. I'm
really? No way.
One person actually told me that, oh, you looked very, you know, intimidating. I was like, how?
And you like, out of all people? No, Manny. You're like the sweetest guy. You're like a teddy bear.
That's the thing.
You're like a teddy bear, bro.
That's the thing. They thought I was a rude, disrespectful person. And I'm just like, why is that? I'm like, I don't know, just the way you look, like your face. I'm like, oh, I have a serious face a lot of the time.
I think I was about to say that. I think maybe because your demeanor at the moment with the serious face gives them that vibe.
Well, one, because I'm wearing a mask too, so I really can't show my...
But see, that's the ironic part about it. Why would they say you're rude if you had a mask on? So like, it doesn't even make sense.
I don't know either, but honest. And then they told me like, oh no, dude, I had the wrong impression on you. You're such a nice guy. Like, you're very helpful and all that stuff. And I was just like, I appreciate that. But anyway, guys, do hit us up on Instagram. You guys can follow me at Twitter. Abby, shoot your Instagram because we got to go.
Yes. You guys can follow me at Princess Abby 323. My candle one is Princess Abby Candles, which will be dropping soon.
Oh my God, I was about to ask you that. What's up with the candles? Are they coming?
They're coming soon.
Thank you.
Should I give them a preview? No, not yet.
Not yet. No, not yet. Let's hold off on that. But thank you.
Once I get the photo shoot done and all that,
yes.
I'll be.
Thank you, Abby. And you guys can follow me at MG on the mic 323. You guys can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Catch us on YouTube as well soon, guys. We're going to be on there. And this has been Living in the 323, guys.
Yes, and also I want you guys to please leave us comments. We need reviews from you guys. We do want to know what's going on. I know people DM me, but I really want to know on the public reviews, not just personal.
Do us a favor, you guys. If you guys do have Apple or even Spotify, go on the bottom of our page and put a star review. You know, just be completely honest with us and leave us a comment. Leave us if you guys have any suggestions for us, anything like that, feel free to DM.
Make it better.
Feel free to put it on there. Feel free to DM us as well. Don't be shy. Yeah, we won't get mad.
Also, let us know if the timing is good because we're trying to reduce our timing, but we keep going a little longer.
We talk a lot. What can we do?
We're radio personalities for sure, bro. Because we can go on and on and on. If they were to put us on the radio for 8 hours. Bro, we would never stop.
We can do an entire telethon. We can do an entire telethon.
Exactly. So we do want to know from you guys' perspective, is our timing good? Should we reduce the timing, keep it at 30, 40 minutes?
Yeah.
Keep it at an hour, do 2-3 hours? I don't know. We just want feedback from you guys and let us know.
Please do, guys. Don't be shy. And like we said, you can hit us both up at Living in the 323 on Instagram. And we both run the page. We both will respond. And huge shout out to I'm not gonna say this person's name on the air, but this person actually asked me to help them produce a podcast. So I'm working on I'm helping this person out with a new project. Hopefully within the next few weeks or so, this his first episode launches. And it's been such an honor to be helping not just J Vibes, but this. I'm not going to give too much information, but yeah, guys, I'm helping someone new. And
yes, I'm so excited for you. I'm glad that.
Well, thank you for sending him over to me. Because
you're welcome.
It's such a pleasure to help him out. And it's been a pleasure to,
shout out to him for reaching out to me. He found me on Clubhouse. So shout out to Clubhouse for making these connections happen, bro. Because that's another app that has been working to our advantage. And we've been meeting a lot more people in the industry. So we do have a lot of interviews lined up, but with Clubhouse in particular, he found me. I don't know how he found me, but he ended up finding, through the bio there, noticing that I'm a podcaster. So
I think he just scrolled through, the bio and he saw that. And honestly, I applaud him for even reaching out.
Yes, I love it because that, like I told you through text, that just shows that he's serious about the craft that he wants to begin.
And if you're serious about it, guys, and you really want to start a podcast, please hit us up. I am happy to help you. I'm happy to produce a show for you. Yes. Hell, I'll even go to you so you can record it on there. And then if you need me to edit it for you guys, I can even teach you guys how.
And Manny's really good, you guys.
Thank you.
For real. You're welcome.
I try.
No, seriously. I tell you this all the time. From how we started to now, even the setup, you did it in 5 minutes. I was like, bro, I was like, you're hella quick. Right? In no time, he just made it happen. So you guys, if you guys are interested, definitely tap in with Manny. If you guys want to ask me certain questions, you can. Mm-hmm. I'm more of the social media one, I guess you can say. The one, mainly bringing people, but this one was all Manny. But I mainly bring the guests just because that's been my role, I guess you can say, that I kind of took on.
And it's a very good one because you've been really good at scouting talent.
Thank you. Yes. You can say that. I'm more of the talent.
She's a talent scouter.
Yeah.
And she's a damn good one. So.
Thank you. So if you guys want to hire me, holla at me. I'm here.
No, Abby, look, before we end the show, let me just say one thing. Abby, and I'm speaking for her, and I'm speaking for her, not for myself, but Abby takes herself very serious, guys. So if you guys are very serious about, making it up in the business, you're talking to the right person right here. She's definitely she can definitely help you get somewhere. She can definitely help you get to where you want to be at. And she has her resources as well. So don't take that for granted. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right, Abby, you ready to go?
Thank you. Yes,
this has been fun, but
it has.
We gotta go.
Yes, it's been really amazing, you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please share the podcast with your friends. Yes. We will be doing bigger and better things coming soon.
Yes.
From what we've initially done. Like it's slowly getting better. As you can see this episode.
Yeah.
So, please share the podcast. If you know anybody that needs to have a laugh or, needs info, like whatever, just trying to have fun. We are quarantined still. So if you know somebody that would enjoy it, please share it. We're on all kinds of platforms, which I wanted you to explain too.
Yeah. Okay.
All the platforms that we're on now.
So the main ones are Apple, Spotify, and Anchor, but we do have more. I don't really know the names of it. All I know is I found it on podlink.com. If you guys can actually listen to us on there too, it gives you all the episodes, and all the episodes are free, by the way, you guys. And then all our videos are going to be free. All we ask is
just subscribe, please.
Yeah, just subscribe, please. That's it. And if you guys
subscribe and reviews.
If you guys do, we have stickers. Look at this. I have the sticker. I have the sticker on the mic. Just hit me up, you guys. I'm not going to sell you guys these stickers. I'm going to give it to you guys for free because...
Oh, by the way, we got to send Cece one.
Oh, yes, we do. I'm going to hit her. I'm going to email. I'm going to send her an email and I'm going to ask her to just send, maybe like a P.O. box or something. Yeah, because I'm going to send one to her and Romeo too,
Yeah, or we can send it to the station.
To everybody on there.
Yeah, like just hand them out,
Yeah.
Whatever she thinks is best, but...
Whatever she thinks is best.
Yeah, but definitely.
Yeah. All right, we got to go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and shout out to all of our foreign countries on the other side of the world.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you guys for tapping in, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.
God bless you guys.